Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring Land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here,
Gabe.
and we have gotten such an awesome, response, whatever you want to call it. Luck with the YouTube algorithm, whatever it is, to the Batman trailer reaction. That we love these kind of movies. We love comic book films. He loves comic books more than I do. I'm not going to claim that I'm an expert in that. That we want to do just a trailer discussion on this. Everyone's doing shot by shot. Everyone's doing Easter eggs. We're not going to do that. We're just going to have a discussion, kind of like you have with your friends in the family room or on the phone or in the basement or outside. We're just going to have a discussion about this that can be kind of a follow-up video to our trailer reaction. So here at Boring Reviews, typically our niche is reacting to Indian trailers and cricket and things from a different continent than where we live. But we've always loved Hollywood. We've always loved comic book films. And so let's jump into this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So, Batman is your favorite superhero character of all time,
Yes.
right? Comic book character of all time.
Period.
He's
Both
not really a
DC,
superhero.
Marvel. Dude, how dare you?
What's your
How
superpower?
dare you?
I'm
I
rich.
remember watching Batman when the Super Friends used to come on, and I started watching cartoons, late like 80s or early 80s, I should say, 86, 87, and we had the Super Friends, yeah, and then Batman was actually with the original live action Batman. Oh, what was his name?
Adam West?
Adam West. Watching his show after schools, I couldn't wait to get there. And even though some of it was campy
Oh, it
or
was
whatnot,
awesome. I couldn't wait for them to say
Bro.
same bat time, same bat
same
channel.
bat time, same bat channel. I love that line, bro. And over the years, like getting into comic books as much as I did, I always say, people don't realize Batman is the man because unlike the rest of the Justice League or the Super Friends back in the day, okay, Batman don't have any powers, but he is still the man in Justice League. And there was
He's
even
awesome.
Bro, Batman, there's a story arc where they get mad at him because he has contingency plans for everyone in the Justice League. And they're able to sneak into his lair, into the Batcave, steal the contingency plans, and use it against the Justice League. Everybody, he calls it contingency plans.
I love it.
So afterwards, right, they get, obviously, the Justice League prevails, and they're all mad at Batman. They're having like a round table meeting, and he's like, listen, if every one of you don't have a contingency plan for me, I don't even want to be a part of this Justice League. That's what he said. If there's even a 1% chance that any of you are a threat, we have to take it as a certainty and be ready. This is his mentality. I don't care if you're Superman. I don't care if you're Wonder Woman. I don't care if you're Martian Manhunter. I don't care who you are. And they made a cool cartoon about it. Shameless plug, even though I have nothing to do with it, but the DC app, okay? Yes, it's still alive, okay? Go ahead, download that DC app. They have it on there. It is so cool. And he's just smarter than everybody. He's a tactician. He's a detective. And that's what I love about this film, The Batman. It looks like it's going back to those noir detective days where, the Long Halloween, you have to figure out who's the villain here. At first we thought it might have been the Riddler, especially they give you those question marks at the end. But they've said that the Penguin is also involved. And the same thing happened in the Long Halloween. There were multiple villains or whatnot, but you had to figure out who, and this is what they're saying that the story arc is going to be mirror along Halloween. It's who is the ultimate villain. We saw those guys the gang's face painted kind of like Jokers, right? They look like Jokers, so maybe it was Joker. Batman is the world's greatest detective. That's how he was able to ascertain the weakness of each of the Justice League members. That's why he always prevailed, because he outsmarts everybody. And to see that aspect, I don't think we've had this in any comic book adaptation or live action film of Batman, where he's just being a detective and investigating. And I love that part about it. I'm so excited for this film.
I think a lot of people are excited for the detective aspect. I think a lot of people are waiting for Matt Reeves to mention at DC Fandom that you're going to get that detective. And he did mention that. And I think that gave everyone a breath of fresh air. We all knew it was going to be year 2 from what's been talked about in the chatter online and everything. And he confirmed that as well. he's saying, he's like 18 months in and he's still making mistakes. He's still trying to figure things out in this film. And the trailer is just so amazing. I've watched it probably at least a dozen, if not 24 times. And I'm in a period in my life right now where I have like no free time. But I just can't help myself. I watch all these trailer reactions. I love trailer reactions. But I can't get enough of this trailer and how much people are saying about it. You mentioned the Penguin. That's Colin Farrell. That's as the Penguin.
Right.
And he's the guy who's like, oh, this guy's crazy. Like, that's Colin Farrell? You crazy? I love it. I've already heard about who is the Riddler. Oh, Paul Dano's supposed to be playing the Riddler, supposedly. Right. Paul Dano is an amazing actor he has an amazing range, and he's got some awkward roles. If you've not seen him in the Beach Boys film where he plays Brian Wilson, absolutely amazing performance in that. But he has other performances, like in Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. This guy is unbelievable, so I'm excited for his rendition of that. You got Jeffrey Wright playing Commissioner Gordon, and he looks fantastic with the mustache. There's just so many aspects of this trailer that I want to talk about. Let's first focus on, before we get to the trailer, I just want to focus on how the film aspects of Batman have been iterated. You have Adam West. That wasn't a film, but I think there was like a Batman film. They made TV film. Yeah. How that started off. And you can make fun of the campiness. You can make fun of the cheese. But Superman had George Reed in the 40s and the 50s. Or the 50s and the 60s. This was Adam West bringing Batman. From Batman to Batman. 1989. Huge tonal shift. You've got to give credit to Tim Burton. Even though you can watch that film and you can say, oh, it's kind of short. And it doesn't really focus a lot on this and that. And Batman's got no muscles and all this kind of... It doesn't matter, because that took Batman from the pow and the kabang and the into a guy who is dark, a guy who is someone to be feared, a guy who has, not really everything caught up inside. I know you love Jack Nicholson's Joker, and so do I, and everyone else does, but I want more Bruce Wayne in that original Batman movie. Right. I really do. And then you have Batman Returns, where you introduce some great characters. Danny DeVito gets a great performance as the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman. And, who am I missing right now? I guess those are the two main ones. You have Max Schreck or whatever kind of being the diabolical one. Right. But I like those first two films. And then you have Joel Schumacher, who comes in. He tried to do his thing. It did not work out. He went for more of the cartoonish thing. He went more for more of the laughable thing. But going back to Tim Burton, we had a little bit of the Detective of Batman in that. It was minuscule. It was a little bit, but it was awesome. And as a kid, I was like, oh, that's cool. The superhero is like in his Batcave, like in an office chair, trying to figure things out with his screens. I always thought that was cool. I always wanted more of that. In the Nolan Batman, Nolan was working with such a larger universe, such a wider scope of what Batman was. And I'm not going to say that in every movie there wasn't a detective aspect, because there was. But we need, like you said, that noir. That's what we're so excited about with this one. The progression of Batman has been fantastic. We don't want to forget about Affleck, but he didn't really get too much material to work with. I'm so excited for this one. But let's start off with that first scene, where it's the crime scene. Commissioner Gordon is talking, and Batman's in the room with the other police officers. Right. One thing I didn't notice when I first watched it, that other people have made mention of, is that the other officers, they're uneasy about, why is Batman here? Why is Commissioner Gordon, or maybe he's not Commissioner Gordon yet, why is this guy, Lieutenant Gordon, whatever, talking to him where he's the Batman and he's kind of doing our jobs for us? What are your thoughts about that?
I was going to say, is that even confirmed that that's supposed to be Jim Gordon? Because if it's year 2, he wouldn't be commissioner at that point.
He's Jim Gordon, but he might not be commissioner.
Yeah, year 2, he's not commissioner at that point anyway. But, yeah, it's one of those things where I think people have forgotten. And the original Batman, we're talking about the Adam West. Remember, they had the bat phone right there in the house, and Jim Gordon had a direct line to him. Okay, Batman has worked closely with Gotham PD for years. Okay, especially Jim Gordon, and it's not like he's one of those people, one of those characters where he's so obscure. One of the things that was so funny that they did in the Ben Affleck version, BVS, where the rookie cop, remember when he's shooting at Batman in the room when he first comes in there, and the veterans cops like, dude, like what are you doing? You almost got yourself taken out there. And he's like, I thought he was a myth. What do you mean he thought he was a myth? Everybody knows Batman is in Gotham. Are you kidding me? It's not like a secret. It's an open secret. Now, over the years, people have been able to ascertain who, his identity, and that's what a lot of people's complaint. Oh, if Batman's in that room, a lot of people, around so many people, won't they be able to get a look at him and ascertain who he is? But if a guy comes in a room with all this stuff, all this getup on, okay, the cowl, the cape, he's got the boots, he's got it looks like riot gear armor, you know what I'm saying? Like, the last thing you're doing is trying to look at that chin and saying, yeah, I recognize that chin, that's Bruce Wayne. Stop it, okay? You're not, come on, Superman with the glasses is probably a bigger argument. You're not making that argument for that, so I don't think that argument holds water. But, for years, he's worked with the PD, and it's known that he does what Gotham PD can't do, which is clean up Gotham. The Gotham series, for all its fault, one of the things that it did show was how James Gordon came in as a young cop. One of the reasons he's willing to work with Batman is because he's seeing how corrupt Gotham is, how corrupt the mayors have been, and the commissioners prior to him, how the police Gotham PD themselves are corrupt. So he finally found somebody who's willing to fight against that, and that's why he's willing to work with him.
And he in Gotham is the extreme minority as trying to be a stand-up cop, and people are like, we can't trust you because we don't know why you're trying to be this Boy Scout and all stand up. And he's just like, it's a great series. It really is. It's not fantastic. I love the Penguin in that series. Yeah. But getting back to this, you said, people aren't going to try to figure out who he is. Do you not know it's 2020? Do you not know that how many Easter egg videos are on YouTube from this 2-minute trailer? I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. Every superhero is going to be found out within 2 days of this day and age with all of the people out there doing investigative. It's just unbelievable. But
internet snoops.
For me, it doesn't really matter. I don't care about that. I never cared about my mom and my friends. When I love Superman, they're like, dude, he has glasses on. Come on, that's a lame disguise. I don't care because Clark Kent is able to embody, and this is what Christopher Reeves did such a wonderful job. He did such a great job making Clark Kent a completely different character than Superman, than Kal-El, and it was fantastic. Getting back to this, I'm curious, and we're not going to get it, I don't think, when Jim Gordon decides to trust the Batman. We've seen in the Nolan films that he appreciated what Batman was doing, and he was going about it a different way, but he had nobody else. His back against the wall with all these dirty cops. I got to trust someone. This guy is providing good fruits at least, so I'm going to trust this guy. I'm always curious about that because this Jim Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, he's an older gentleman. This Jim Gordon looks a little more experienced, a little more seasoned. I'm getting too focused on that. I am curious with this film, are there going to be too many villains? Because Catwoman can be an anti-hero, she can be a villain, she can be somewhere in between. We don't know. Just because Anne Hathaway turned out to be pretty decent in The Dark Knight Rises, we don't know what Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is. We assume that she's going to work with Batman, that she's going to be his only ally, because even him, Matt Reeves said in his fandom, he said, this guy is unleashed. This guy is brutal. This guy has no remorse right now. This guy is unhinged. And I love that idea of Batman. And we saw it in the fight scene where he was just beating him down, and then he was beating him down some more on vengeance. This guy, he doesn't have that restraint. And so maybe he doesn't need an ally like Catwoman. I'm curious, are there going to be too many villains? And my one thing where you can make it happen, in my opinion, is if you have a 2 or 3 or 4 film arc. And I want to say Matt Reeves got 3 films planned out for this. Don't give me a one-time Penguin where he's done after one film. Don't give me a one-time Riddler. Don't even give me a one-time Catwoman. I want to see these guys work in their sandbox, so to speak, with each other for several films and go back and forth and trade blows. For me, that would be fantastic. I don't need 3 villains now and then 3 villains in the second one and 4 villains in the third one because it just doesn't work out too well. To your point, you love the villains. We got to have some background on these guys. Let's be able to get our feet soaking wet and learn about these guys a little bit.
And I think that one of the things I like about this is the hyper-realism, too, that he's bringing to the film. I think that was one of the successes of my man Joker, and I've seen that. This isn't my theory. Credit to other guys internet sleuths who've put this together. But if you look at the timelines from the Joker from this film, the Joker, or the Batman, I should say, from this film, it could be in the same universe, okay? Because this looks like, you notice that in that Joker, it takes place probably about the 80s.
82 or something like
82s, you saw the cop cars, you saw brand new cars, you saw somebody with an iPhone, so it's contemporary, it's present times, so it's possibly part of the same universe. You also
been 38 years before, and we see Bruce Wayne when he's like 10 or 12. You telling me this Bruce Wayne's 50 years old?
Well, maybe not 2020, but at least the 2000s. You saw somebody with a smartphone, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we
but
saw that.
There's an argument to be said that it could be in the same, in the same universe. Speaking, this Bruce Wayne, year 2, he's only like 22, 23. He's super young, exactly. and you're able to pull that off with Robert Pattinson. You know what I really liked, and people were like, don't understand this part where Batman is the actual identity, right? Some people said he played the Bruce Wayne part too stoic, but he still hasn't learned how to hide that Bruce Wayne, that Batman identity, because that is his identity. He's a hurt and broken man, an angry man, okay? The playboy, the Bruce Wayne, the socialite, that's just an act. That's a facade. And in year 2, he still hasn't learned how to really put that on, really. And I think that one of my favorite lines Ben Affleck said when in I want to say it was Justice League film, he's talking to Alfred, and he told Alfred, Superman was more human than I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a family, he had his mom, he had Lois Lane, he had a real job. This is my life. This is all I have, being Batman, and it speaks to the fact, like Reeves said, this Batman is unhinged. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't learned how to hide that yet, so he's still walking around with the greasy hair and the unkept suit, just angry. You can see even in his face, and I think Robert Pattinson is doing a really good job of embodying that. He hasn't learned to be that chameleon where I can hide in plain sight. You saw a little bit of that, and a little bit of that in the original Christopher Nolan Batman. When he first comes back, you saw his hair was also disheveled when he had the gun and he tried to go in to kill the mob boss or whatever, Falcone or whatnot. Like, this is who it is. It's this angry guy. His parents were taken away from him. He sees the city crumbling. He wants to do something about it. So you're telling the story of the novels. That's what I love the best about it. Again, if you've never read some of the original novels, The Dark Knight Rises, that was probably the first novel I read. It wasn't a comic book. It was an actual novel, cover to cover, and I loved it. And, spoiler alert, and that when he gets his back broke, and that's when they have to bring in the other Batman to be Batman, and he ends up having to take him out because he gets too sadistic and he's, killing people.
Spoilers.
I know, right? I just read it. Spoiler alert. But it's
gosh.
awesome. Again, one of the small details. You saw the Batmobile. It's not some ultra futuristic car. It's a souped up Maserati. That's what it is in the novels. That's basically what it is. I don't know if that was a Maserati. It's basically a souped up sports car. That's what you would have, and that's what I'm saying. I love the realism that Reeves is bringing to this film. I'm excited, man.
I'm super excited. I can't imagine anything more than what we got, especially when they're only a quarter of the way filming done on this film. I'm still blown away by that trailer. Just like I was with the Joker trailer last year. I couldn't get enough of it. Couldn't get enough reactions of it. Super excited for it. It's interesting that you said that you like the Bruce Wayne in this, because reaction to reaction, people hate it. People hate his... And I'm like, you get like 12 seconds of him looking in a direction and pushing a guy out of the direction here. Like, that's enough for you? Right. I got that last shot where he takes off the cowl and you have the face paint, which looks like someone just do it themselves. It wasn't perfectly polished or whatever, or it wasn't magically gone when he takes the cowl off.
Right.
When you see that look on his face, and he just has that look like he's not in the right headspace. He's still suffering from Martha, right? And his dad dying,
right.
Thomas Wayne. He is so messed up. And you're right. He is not going to be the future CEO of Wayne Enterprises at 22, 23 when he's still got his head all messed up. He's going out there brutalizing people to take the punishment out, and he doesn't know where he is. I absolutely love that he's on his breaking point. He's unhinged, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job so far. We don't get enough of that, but you're right. He's not going to be that polished Bruce Wayne. And you said about how Batman is who he is. We saw that in the Christopher Nolan films, especially in Batman Begins. He asks Alfred, what does a guy like me do? And then he goes around and he buys those hotels and he's swimming with those ladies.
Right.
And then he gets caught by Rachel Dawes and he's like, Rachel, this is not me.
Right.
And so I love that. I think he's going to do fine as Bruce Wayne. We didn't get enough to go either way. It looks absolutely phenomenal.
Can I tell you what? This trailer reminds me of the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Remember the buzz that was creating? You know what I mean? And even the Endgame trailer where it broke the internet. Like, for DC, as big as Joker was, I think that this is one of the biggest trailers, and I'm so excited for it. I gotta say, I think it's the most I've ever been excited for a Batman film in general and for a DC film in general, because it's so true to the novels and the original comics, you know what I mean? Where you're getting the real Batman, you know what I mean? I think part of the flaw of the Justice League Batman, and even though, I like Ben Affleck, but they focus too much on the superhero aspect of it, of the gadgets with the flying bat car, the bat plane, and some cool action scenes, but they forget about the actual duality of Bruce Wayne, who's really Batman, pretending to be Bruce Wayne. He's not pretending to be Batman. He's pretending to be Bruce Wayne, and how that's a conflict in his life. And this is a smaller film. It feels smaller, just like Joker was. And I think you really need that to embody who Batman is. Because yes, when you put him up against the rest of the Justice League, like we started this, you're like, well, he's not really a superhero. Now when you look at Wonder Woman's powers and Martian Manhunter and Superman, Green Lantern, but when you're even more impressed when you realize this guy's been doing this for all these years and he don't have any powers and he's still the man. You know what I mean? That's why I love Batman.
And if you have the powers, you have that as like an insurance, as a safety blanket. Like, if you hit me, I'm going to be okay. He doesn't have that. I mean, he's just a guy in a suit. I can't wait. Let us know what are some of your thoughts. We went super long in this discussion. If you stuck around the entire time, thanks so much. Let us know in the comment section. I stuck around for the entire time. Let us know if you agree or disagree. We want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time,
we are vengeance.